walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders.
Welcome back to another episode of Podward State. I'm one of your hosts, Sam Brungo, here with my friend Grace Cunningham. Grace, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Interesting episode here today. We have we're going to start out with some headlines. And then we have a guest that we've been talking about getting on here for a while. We have Gary Cattell, the Willard Preacher, better known as. Interesting conversation.
Yeah, he was kind of cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw him in a different light than we usually see him when we walk past him.
I mean, you hate to say it, but everybody has preconceived opinion of him, and he just was at the end I was told him, I said, hey, you seem like just a normal guy, and he was like, yeah, most people are.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, he was cool. So that was a cool conversation. I'm glad we got to do that. Another one along with Spice Adams last week that Matt had been talking about for a while. So shout out to the boys, the founders. We're going to get in with some headlines here. We have our editor, Hailey Stutzman. Stutz, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing good. What do we got for us?
So, a Penn State student who was previously reported missing this week was found dead Friday morning, according to State College Police. The student, identified on social media as Justine Gross, was previously reported missing Thursday night. Gross was last seen Wednesday night near Beaver Terrace, her downtown apartment building. Community members will host a candlelight vigil at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 18th at Beaver Terrace, Gross's former apartment.
Yeah, this one's sad.
Yeah, very sad.
Really sad. We were just talking about this before. Obviously, there's not a lot of information out about it. Our condolences to her family and friends. Anybody with info regarding the disappearance is encouraged to reach out to local and university police.
Joan Schreier, the patron of Penn State Schreier's Honors College, died Tuesday morning following a battle with a short illness at 92 years old. Schreier and her husband, William, helped rebrand and officially name Penn State's Honors College in 1997 thanks to a $30 million gift. The Schreier family followed up with an additional $25 million gift in 2006 that helped the college continue expanding. Rest in peace.
Yeah, it's sad. I feel like there's been a lot of these.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to the Schreier family. How are you? What do you got for us?
I'm good.
Good.
The State College Borough Council voted Monday night to extend its temporary COVID-19 ordinance, which mainly tightens mask-wearing guidance, to December 7th. Any public facility or business in the borough of State College will continue to require customers, employees, and visitors to wear face coverings until the new ordinance expires. The previous ordinance, passed on September 15th, was set to expire on November 22nd. We're not really going to be here, so.
That's true.
I'll be here.
Sorry.
That's okay. I wear my mask anyways, except for right now. Yeah.
December 7th is a weird date, I think. I would think they would just extend it until we all go home.
Until students leave, yeah. They probably will.
Probably.
Yeah, wear your mask, get your flu shot, get your vaccine, donate some blood, save a life. Our COVID-19 correspondent, Shannon Smith.
Yes. Penn State faculty and staff across the entire state are now required to get fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The university announced on Friday employees have until January 4th, 2022 to receive their final vaccine dose, and proof of vaccination needs to be shared with the university through an online portal by January 18th.
It's probably a good call. I'm vaccinated. Did you guys get a booster?
I don't think I asked my mom the other day, and she said that I can't get it yet, but I don't think that's true. I think I can.
I think I can, too. My mom was like, you have to get the booster. You have to get the booster. And I was like, okay, I'll get it. Where do I get it? And then nothing. But
I'll probably look when I go home.
I have to look.
Cool.
I need to find my vaccine card. I know it's here somewhere, but I don't know where.
Why, you going on a plane or something?
No, I just feel like I should probably have it.
Oh. Cool, man. You're going to Disney World. Yeah. Thanks, Shannon.
You're welcome.
But, all right.
Okay.
We now have associate producer / sound technician Jordy Mansberger. You're kind of like Cordell Stewart /
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother. Who you got,
I could
Jordy?
have wore my jersey.
Yeah, I used to have a Cordell jersey. Do you have
I
one?
still got one.
Let's go.
Dude, my Cordell jersey I got on Marketplace. And for like $10, okay, quick story, got it on Marketplace. It's reversible.
What is
So
it
like if
reversed
you
to?
reverse it, it's the away jersey, and if you do it again, it's the home jersey.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's literally like a / jersey.
Hey-o.
Yeah. Ayo. Okay.
Shout out Cordell.
Yeah.
What do you got for us here, Jordan?
So Fritz Smith, the president and CEO of the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, announced Tuesday the formation of a sports and entertainment commission in Center County. We have opportunities to do all kinds of events. We've had a concert here. We're looking at that opportunity, Sidwell said. We've had some early discussions with the folks at Top Golf to potentially bring Top Golf to the region sometime in the summer. In terms of a concrete timeline, actual events are being actively pursued by the commission.
So there's a little confusion around this. Here we have our Top Golf correspondent, Will Pegler. Will, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so I also talked to the folks at Top Golf. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, so it's going to be, I think people thought, we were talking about it, people thought Top Golf was like, they were just going to build one. They're saying they're going to Top Golf's going to be at Beaver Stadium and you shoot them onto the field. So yeah, just clearing that up.
From where would we shoot them?
I don't know. You'd
Would
have
there
to,
be
you'd have to
alcohol
ask Scott
served?
Sidwell. Possibly. I don't know. Honestly, there's a lot of, they didn't really, at the, what's that?
Where would you shoot it from?
I mean, maybe they'll open up a space. I don't know.
Yeah,
There are some openings where you can shoot, probably, in between.
10 people to go at a time.
That sounds like
No,
a
I mean
mess.
maybe. Yeah, no, it does sound like a mess. I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be Scott Sidwell as the vice chair, and then what's that guy's name? Joe Batista.
Oh yeah, Joba.
He used to
He
be
my
the
hockey
Icers.
coach.
Yeah, he was
Joba.
Icers. That was he coached Penn State club hockey.
He was my hockey coach.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
He's a
cool
good
guy.
dude. Yeah. And they talked about concerts and what else? Oh, and possibly they're exploring the idea of the NHL Winter Classic. Possibly that'd be a lot.
Penn's Flyers.
Yeah, that'd be way down the line. And somebody asked about soccer at the press conference. They said Beaver Stadium doesn't currently have the dimensions to put a soccer field on there, but they are actively pursuing all options.
They're doing. Thanks, Will.
Yep.
They are doing some renovations on Beaver Stadium, so that might be something to look into.
No doubt.
Which actually makes sense, realizing how close the sideline is to the, not as close as Kinnick and stuff, but compared to Heinz Field, which is big enough to have soccer. Yeah, you got something? Or are you just stretching? Okay. They could and probably should put a Top Golf here.
Yeah.
That would do so well. That would be interesting. Anyways, that's cool. Onward State wrote a hot takes article. I despised it. Some of them were so bad. I sent out a tweet. Connor liked it. I sent out a tweet that said two of these takes are ridiculously bad, hilariously bad. Can anyone guess which they were?
Was it Colleen's the We Are one?
Colleen's was bad. That was one of them. Okay, so one of the takes was that We Are is cringe. That's ridiculous.
I kind of know what she means, though.
No, to
I
an
know so
extent
many
it's
people.
cringe, but what?
Literally, every person I know says that to me. They're like, "Stop saying we are."
Okay, so Chickies and Pete's will soon arrive at the Bryce Jordan Center, according to a few new signs posted around the arena Wednesday night. Philadelphia-based Chickies and Pete's once voted the #1 sports bar in North America, is known for its Old Bay seasoned fries and sandwiches, lobster rolls and chicken cutlets, seafood, and more.
Yeah, so all they're going to they had, me and Pegs went to a Knicks game, and they had this in Philly.
Yeah.
And it was good. I went to Chickies and Pete's, and I bought 2 beers and this cup of fries, $43.
Oh my God.
So it's going to be very expensive.
Was it at least a good size
it
of
was
fries or?
Yeah, it was hearty.
Okay. I don't even know what crab fries are, but
It was literally just fries with Old Bay.
Oh.
I don't eat crab, but
yeah.
they were tasty. Anyways, but that's cool. It's probably going to be very expensive, but it's probably also just going to have those fries. Any thoughts, Grace?
Not really. I don't think I've ever heard of Chickie and Pete's.
Chickies and Pete's. They got to just get beer, honestly. It's about time. All right. Thanks, Jordy.
Word.
Those were our headlines. We'll be back with Gary Cattell after the break.
joining us now, we have Gary Cattell, better known to Penn Staters as the Willard Preacher. Gary, welcome to Podward State. How are you?
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm doing well. Thanks.
So first off, we were just chatting a little bit before we started recording. I said, do you feel like you're a legend around Penn State? And you said,
no.
And why
not? First of all, if I did, my wife would cut me down real quick. Number one. Number two, it's just not healthy. It's not healthy to think of yourself. So it's just, I come here in the afternoons and I go home in the evenings, and it's just like anybody else with any other work that they do.
And do you know, though, that people, like, dress up as you for Halloween and, like, there's pictures of you and articles about you? You know that you're well known, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if you knew that.
But you just can't think that way. It's
Okay.
not good. And you can never live up to people's expectations if they have any. Probably the expectations about me are pretty low. But if anybody has any higher ones, you can never live up to it anyhow. So.
Right. I like that. So for our listeners that maybe aren't familiar with who you are, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I essentially come to Willard Building every day in the afternoons and preach and talk to people about God, Christianity, Orthodoxy, the culture. And the basic idea is to try to show people that Christianity is the true religion. Orthodoxy is a true expression of Christianity. Jesus is the only savior of the world. But most people aren't there yet. So we go back and we start with how I think people are being trained to think, what they're being trained to believe, and why I think the whole thing is a big lie.
Okay. Interesting.
Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and your life before you were the Willard Preacher?
Well, I grew up in a secular home. We never went to church or anything. I never remember having a discussion about God with my parents or anything. And so it was the kind of came of age in the 70s. And did a lot of partying, was searching for answers, began to ask myself why I existed, what the purpose of life was. Had no idea what the answer to that question was, but eventually figured out that the answer to that question lied in whether or not there was a God. Because if there's no God, there is no meaning to life. No reason why we're here. We're just an accident in the universe, waiting to cease to exist. If there is a God, then he would be the reason why we exist. So I began to search down those lines, not real intent, because, like I said, I was doing a lot of partying and stuff, but still it was in the back of my mind. I was thinking about it, wondering about it. I realized after a while that the answer to that question, you can't answer the question, is there God or not, in the negative. You can't know that there is no God. So you have to do it in the positive. But doing it in the positive, you can't just research all the world religions, because then you're just going to choose the one you like the best, and you could still be wrong. So one day I figured, well, I guess I'll just ask God. If he's there, will he make it known to me? And eventually did in a series of events, a series of things. I came to know that there was a God and that he was the Christian God, and then eventually dedicated my life to God. But that has to come ultimately through revelation. It can't just come through reasoning.
Are you from around here?
Yeah, I grew up in Boalsburg, which is about...
That's where I grew up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Practically neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And did you go to Penn State?
I went up to Barron for a year, came down here for 2 years, but like I said, I was doing a lot of partying at the time, and when it came a choice between the partying and school, I chose the partying. I was kind of in a state of not knowing what was up, why I existed, what I wanted to do, and so the school thing I kind of lost interest in.
So often, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but often I feel like people talk about when they found God or whatever, and it often includes drugs, and you keep mentioning partying and partying. Did that have any correlation to you finding God, do you think?
Well, I think the partying was something I did because, I figured, well, I may just end up ceasing to exist one day, so I might as well have fun while I'm here. But the problem with that is you party as much as I did, eventually it doesn't become fun anymore. You're just doing it because that's what you do. It didn't really work out. And it was an aspect of it, but it was mostly just trying to figure out, why do I exist? What's the purpose of life? Why am I here? You know, what am I doing?
So it wasn't like you took ayahuasca and you found Jesus.
Took what was that?
Like you took shrooms or something, and
Well,
you
I did
found
take
God
shrooms,
on
but I didn't
shrooms.
take Jesus. I didn't find Jesus when I was on shrooms.
Okay, that was my question.
Pretty
because
much you can't believe anything when you're doing that.
we have a question later on about your conversation with Sam Richards, which he one time told us that he took shrooms and found God. So that's why I asked. But
Okay.
anyways,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I wouldn't trust anything when I was on shrooms or acid. Or anything like that.
How did you become the Willard Preacher?
There's actually somebody doing this before me, Brungo. He's out now again. He took a long time off, but you see him, he's out there, beard, scooter, sits out there in the scooter, talks to people. But he started doing this before me, and I used to come and listen to him. And because I was, like I said, trying to find answers. And so I would listen to him, and he was a big part in my journey to find God. Ultimately, the end was, revelation from God, but he was a big part in trying to leading me in that direction, pointing me in that direction.
Did he go by Willard Preacher as well?
Yeah, they did call him the Willard Preacher, but his name was Bro Cope, and so that was a more memorable name than mine. So people knew him as Bro, but they did call him the Willard Preacher, I think, pretty sure. But with me, it was more that nobody knew my name. So they just started calling me the Willard Preacher when they were being nice.
When did you start?
I started in November of 1982.
So you've been at Penn State for a long time.
A long time, yeah.
Damn.
It's almost your 40-year anniversary. I was going to say 30.
It's 39 this year, yeah.
Wow.
How old are you?
64.
You don't look that old, I don't think. But I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it's because you found Jesus. So I was going to ask why Willard. Why is Willard is that just where Bro was and you took over after him, or?
Yeah, Bro and another guy named Steve Michaels, they tried a number of different places on campus. They settled on Willard because everybody has a class here. There was natural seating areas, and there was a lot of foot traffic. So it was kind of, at least then, I guess it still sort of is central to campus.
How did the debate with Sam Richards come about?
I guess as far as I remember, his class does fundraiser for some fundraiser he has in Haiti or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess some of them, or I don't know how many of them, wanted to do the debate. And so they came and asked me, and I said, yeah, that'd be fun. And it was enjoyable. I like Sam. It was a fun time.
In passing, I've noticed that you embrace debate and you embrace conversation with students. Do you ever have interactions with students that leave you feeling bad or that you feel just end badly? Or do you have any stories for us that are, kind of conflict with that?
I actually like debates, and because I learn from them, and hopefully other people learn from them. Normally, you don't convince the person that you're debating, but if anybody else is around listening or whatever, they can hear both sides. But yeah, sometimes I leave, and I think, boy, I didn't handle that one very well, or arguments weren't really up to par on that one, or somebody comes from a slightly different angle I hadn't thought of before. And so I think, well, that didn't work out as well as I would have liked. So then I tried to find out, where I kind of fell short and where I could do better next time.
Is there any time that you feel like you have had your opinion changed based on something a student said to you or had maybe your mind opened?
Well, I was Protestant when I first started preaching, and now I'm Orthodox. And that was because a student came out here virtually every single day, and we were discussing Orthodoxy and Protestantism every day. And there was actually a Roman Catholic grad student that was in the conversation too. And it lasted for months. And finally, he asked me a question. And in Protestantism, the idea is the Bible is the sole authority of Christianity. So he said, find me the idea in the Bible that the Bible is the sole authority of Christianity. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't find it. So I knew that Protestantism was kind of dead at that point. So then I started to do some short stories. I started to do some look into history, looked into Roman Catholicism, looked into Orthodoxy, and came to the conclusion that Orthodoxy was a true expression of Christianity. But yes, that was a big change.
Do you have any stories about times that students have gotten really upset with something that you were saying and how you handled that?
Well, I've been slapped a couple times.
Really?
There's not much you can do about that, except, I don't know. The funny part is that this one girl was a lesbian, and it used to be homosexuals used to have a coming out day. Now it's like, I don't know what it is now, 6 months or 3 months or a month or something. They used to have a coming out day, and they used to have it over in Schwab Auditorium, which is just catty corner. So they would have a big crowd there. There'd be a big crowd at Willard. Sometimes there was protesters. This was like the Wild West of free speech at Penn State. So there was like protesters in the middle. There was police wandering around, and sometimes they would come over, and want to debate. And so I was debating with this young lesbian, and she got frustrated, and I cleaned it up a little bit, tiny bit, but she just said, it's all about love, darn it, and slapped me across the face. That was rather ironic, but
that must have been a while ago, right? Because that probably wouldn't fly now.
No, that was probably in the 90s or maybe early 2000s.
Okay.
There's not a lot of free speech left at Penn State anymore, in my opinion.
You have a book, The Christians versus the University. Tell us a little bit about that, what it's about, and what motivated you to write that.
I wrote that a number of years ago, and I just wanted to get down some of the arguments that I make here at Penn State. So I did it in the kind of, if you've ever read C.S. Lewis' Screwtape Letters, it's kind of in that genre where I have a nephew who's just gone to Penn State and was a Christian growing up and is having questions. Now he's been to Penn State, he's hearing a lot of different things, and he's having questions, and he's writing me. So we do all the basic subjects, homosexuality, abortion, atheism, and so on. And it's just my writing to him. We don't do his writing to me. My writing to him, answering his questions that he's coming across.
Interesting.
What's your daily routine like?
Well, I get up in the morning and pray. 3 days a week I run. And then I come back and 5 days a week I stretch to keep 64-year-old limbs that kind of, stretched out a little bit. I go back up and pray for a while, come here, do this from Monday,
About what time?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I get here around noon, Tuesday and Thursday around 1, usually here till at least 4:45. And then I go home and eat dinner and do whatever and go to bed and get up the next day and do it all again.
Do you have any hobbies, or what do you like to do on the weekend or for fun?
I like sports. I don't really play them anymore, but I watch them. And, just do work around the house, where I live. Bro actually owns the little complex where we live at, but I take care of all the outside stuff. So I do that also.
Do you ever go to Penn State football games or watch them?
Not anymore. I used to. We grew up around here. Both my parents worked for the university, so we used to go to them when they were actually on the Jordan side, Jordan end zone side. They were just bleachers, and you get in for like $1 a game or whatever. So we would go. So went to them from probably about elementary school through college. Now I just watch them on TV.
What are your other teams that you follow?
I'm a Pittsburgh fan, so.
Let's go. What do you think about the Steelers this year? They're looking a little
ragged.
Yeah, but don't they always?
Yeah, I guess. They've looked better. They've looked worse, I guess. They didn't start out too well. They're starting to look a little bit better, but I don't think they're going anywhere this year. But
we'll see. It'll be interesting. How many red sweatshirts do you have? Why the red sweatshirt also? Is there a symbolism behind that?
No. I think it was like a birthday or Christmas present from my parents one year, and so I started to wear it and kind of got identified with it. So I thought, well, I'll just go with this. So I've got this one. I've got one that's kind of used and another one that I could use if I wanted to.
But they're all red?
Oh. I've got other sweatshirts. If I want to go undercover, I'll wear a black sweatshirt.
Are they the same, exact same red sweatshirt, the same brand?
No.
Oh, no. Interesting.
Different brands. This is just a Walmart.
Interesting. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to try to see which one you're wearing.
Well, this is the one I'm wearing now. The other one's a little thinner, I think. Not as warm.
I'm going to notice now.
Yeah.
Do you get recognized everywhere you go, you feel like, around here?
Yeah, sometimes. That's why I wear the black sweatshirt. But sometimes. And it's, I don't mind it. But
People say hello. They're
people
friendly.
say hello or other things. Yeah. Mostly nice. Sometimes not so nice, but mostly nice. Yeah.
That's cool. What do you do during the summer, like when there's no students here, or when students went home during COVID pandemic? What did you do? How did you spend your time?
When there was nobody here?
Yeah.
When there was nobody here, I just I stay at home and do the normal stuff I just told you about, just all the time, instead of just do more praying, more working around the house. We came out here last year. It was pretty desolate. It was kind of like the summer. During the summer, come out to the second session twice a week. For COVID last year, when most people weren't here, we came out 5 days a week. But it was pretty desolate. One person over here, another person over there, a few people walking out. But it was okay. We got to know some people and got to talk to some people.
I rarely was on campus last year, so I remember there was little rumors around that you were doing Zoom sermons and stuff.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen.
All right, we got 2 more questions for you. We know we kept you a little late past your hours normally do, but we really appreciate you chatting with us. I think that this is something that students will be interested to hear, because you are kind of a what would you call it?
Penn State figure.
Yeah, a Penn State figure. There's James Franklin, and there's Eric Barron, and there's the Willard Preacher. Do you feel like that at all?
Well, I guess when you go out in public and speak every day for 39 years, you become a whatever you want to call it. But like I said, it's not healthy to think that way, so I don't think that way.
Good. So some of the things that you say and some of your views, sometimes get people upset. Do you ever feel like instead of spreading the word of God, you feel like sometimes when reflecting on it, you feel like you're spreading hate?
No.
Never?
No. That's always been a tactic by those that don't like me. In other words, they're allowed to say whatever they say, and it's not hatred, even though it conflicts with my beliefs.
Right.
But if I say something that conflicts with their beliefs, then it's hatred. And if it's hatred, the only reasonable thing to do would be not to say it. So it's a tactic to shut up the other side. So if being, like, say, pro-homosexual or transgendered or abortion or something, that's loving and merciful and kind. But if you're against those things, you're a hateful bigot. So it's just a way to silence the other side. And so I don't buy into it. I don't buy into it at all. It's a way for only one side to be heard. And how do you know what the truth is if you only hear one side? You got to hear both sides, and you got to be able to evaluate before you can know what the truth is. And I'm afraid these days that it's too much one-sided, and you rarely, if ever, hear the other side.
Do you ever, at the end of your day, talk to Bro and, he says, oh, you should approach this in a different way, or maybe look to him for advice on how you could better interact with?
Yeah, we talk about things. Yeah, and we go back and forth about things. And he's got some good insights. He did it before I did. He's been in the business longer than I have, so to speak. So yeah, I get wisdom from him.
You have kids, correct?
Correct.
How many?
We have 4 kids.
Your kids, do they ever get recognized as your kid and get any sort of feedback from that from peers?
Most of them this time are scattered all across the country and the world, so they wouldn't. But my daughter Rachel went here, and obviously she did. And I guess we homeschooled our kids, but they went to homeschooling co-op or whatever. So I guess kids there would. Rachel didn't seem to mind. She was my oldest daughter. She didn't seem to mind it. Micah, the youngest son, he doesn't seem to mind it when people come to him. So I don't think they mind it. They just kind of go with it. They grew up with it, so it's not unusual to them. It's kind of normal to them.
You probably have a lot of words of wisdom, but if you could have one token piece of advice that you want college students to hear, what would it be?
I would say that the secular culture is based on one idea, and that idea is you cannot know who God is. And most of the students I talk to buy into that. So I would just like them to ask the question, how do I know I can't know who God is? Because if you ask that question, you'll realize there's no answer to it, because it's the way of the secular culture to keep you from God, because secular is godless. They want a godless culture as much as they can. So they tell you can't know who God is, so you don't bother seeking him out and trying to find him. So you could get a professor with 37 PhDs behind his name, and he could say you can't know who God is. And a young child can say, how do you know that? And he would stump the professor, which shows that the secular culture is based on a lie. And it's chock through with lies. But we get so used to the lies, we get so used to living in it, that we actually start to believe that the lies are truth. And when somebody comes with truth, we actually think the truth is a lie.
Do you like it when people come up and talk to you?
Yeah.
And
I'd
you
much
like it
rather
when,
interact with somebody than just kind of go on and on.
what is it when you people walk past you and pretend like you're not there? If it's just you and them on the sidewalk, does that bother you at all, or do you not care?
No, that doesn't matter. Because
I feel like every time I walk past, I try to give you a little nod or say hello or something.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter, because somebody was asking me that the other day, but since we believe God is, working with us, or we're working with God, a single sentence sometimes has affected people. In fact, I have found that sometimes a single sentence affects people more than a long, drawn-out argument. So that's all it takes, because if somebody's open at all, God can take that little sentence and kind of reveal to them, hey, this is true, and it can begin to change them. So that's all you really need. But I do like discussing with people. I like debates. I like interaction. I think people learn better that way.
Cool. I probably won't ever debate with you, but I will say hello next time I pass.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thank you for coming on. We really appreciate this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Willard Preacher, Gary Cattell. Joining me now, we have associate producer Will Pegler. We got contributor Connor Krause. We're going to talk a little football here with the boys. Busting with the boys. Boys, let's talk about Michigan.
Yeah. What do you think, Connor?
I mean, I think Penn State could have easily won that game, just like a bunch of their losses this year. Same old story, questionable calls, blowing up late. I don't know. It was just more of the same. Offensive line struggled, gave up 7 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. That was really what did it for Penn State, I think.
Did you guys – yeah, I agree. Did you guys see that thread? I think former OSer Bill DeFilippo tweeted it. But like it was just different screenshots of like
Yes.
like the offensive line, like 3 guys would be on their knees or like shoved over, and like every Michigan defensive line, it was just like in the backfield like sacking shot. Like it was impossible. Yeah. I mean, that's what it was.
Anyways, yeah, no, I did see that. Gave me kind of a little flashback to, anyone know?
Temple, Hackenberg.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
What did he get sacked 10 times?
10 times, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, but even like that's what's crazy. Like it's like they can play that bad, and then like Michigan's the number 6 team in the country, and it comes down to like a few plays, and they just don't make them.
Exactly, too.
Sucks.
And Franklin said Ojabo and Hutchinson are both probably the best defensive end tandem in the country.
Right.
And they're both going to be top 10 picks.
Right,
So
they're sick.
As bad as it was, is it really that bad put into perspective?
This team is not bad. This team doesn't suck. Like, you can't, like, everyone's like, Penn State sucks, scrap it. Why scrap it? There's no first-round draft pick. It's not like you can't tank. Like,
Yeah, no, oh,
not
yeah,
that
I know what
they're
you
gonna
mean. Yeah,
scrap
I didn't
it,
know what you
but, like,
meant.
people are like, who cares? Like, Penn State
Yeah,
sucks.
I
Penn State
don't.
does not suck.
I mean, yeah, they've just gotten like they've had like brutal. I mean, the Illinois loss was like I still don't understand what happened, but other than that, like
I still think
they haven't
that
had
they
bad
deserve
losses.
to be in the top 25.
I don't think you can be 6-4 with a loss to Illinois. Like I know, like the eye test, like
I think though,
they're good, but
without that loss, we're in the top 25 without a doubt, right?
Oh,
Without
we lost 3 games to
without the Illinois loss, like they probably go 8-4, right? Like assuming they beat Rutgers.
I
and
think
lose
they
to
go
Michigan
8-4
State.
regardless.
You
I think they beat Michigan State.
Oh shit! Really?
I hope so. Yeah,
I
I think
don't.
they do too. Michigan State, they have that running back.
Dude,
I
he's
also
so
thought we were
sick.
going to beat Michigan, but it was very close. Like, let's talk about it. We lost to number 3 with a hurt quarterback by 3 points. We lost.
I was
to
not actually number 3 though. You know what I mean?
They were
like
number
no, I
3
know
at the
they
time,
were, but
though.
I'm just saying, like, yeah.
Right. Then we lost to, what were they, 5 at the time?
Oh my-
Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio State was
By
5.
9.
Yeah.
Which we were close in that game. I thought we
Including
were
a
gonna-
defensive touchdown.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that pick, if Sean doesn't throw that pick at the end.
I thought we were going to win up until the pick.
Yeah, me too.
And then we lost just a very tight Big Ten game against Michigan, which sucked. But, like,
Yeah.
it sucks that happened, but I don't know.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think they'll go. I don't think they beat Michigan State, but I mean, if they do, that's probably Outback Bowl 8-4.
Yeah,
that's pretty
Outback
good.
or Citrus
Yeah.
against an SEC team.
That'll
be fun.
That's like legit
in Florida. The thing about it though that is frustrating is there's a 2 yard. They're 2 yards away, the 2-point conversion from potentially say they do beat Michigan State, 2 yards between an Outback Bowl or a Music City Bowl bid and a Rose Bowl bid. You know,
Right? Yeah, no, I know.
which is so frustrating.
I know.
Because if you make the Rose Bowl, that's a great building block for the program.
Yeah.
And they're 2 yards away from that because they couldn't get into the end zone against Illinois. So
Yeah, dude, that's a good point. Jesus.
Yeah, but you look at that and you also say, you know, we had we're a rib injury, undisclosed injury away
Upper body.
an upper body undisclosed injury away from the Rose Bowl. You say we are a fake field goal from inside the 5 away from a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I mean,
at
always.
this point, we win this game, we're not going to the Rose Bowl. But
I think it always feels that way with James Franklin. You know what I mean? I think he's a pretty good coach. I think he's an awesome recruiter. But like, it's always something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if that doesn't happen, like 2017, it was like they lost the heartbreaker to Ohio State, and then they let that carry over to Michigan State. And then,
yeah, I think it was 13 of the last 15 losses are within one score.
yeah,
it's
That's
crazy.
But like, I mean, we've all been fans for a long time. We remember the blowouts. Like it's not where the program is right now. We're not satisfied with it, but it's not the end of the world, in my opinion.
Well,
it could be a lot worse.
Agreed.
So when me and Will were talking about it, in 1 week ago today was 10 years since the first game without Joe. And we were talking about that, and I wrote a post for it. Will helped me out a good bit. And it's just like I wrote about how, you know, we were happy to have a team and to have players come and stuff. And it's like now feel like that is gone, and people are just so quick to be like, fire James Franklin, and we need better players. Like these college kids are like ruining my life.
Right.
Like it's like we take it for granted, I think, and
Yeah.
it's just what happened.
I think people have like a distorted view of what the team actually was when Joe was here and like the quote unquote glory
Totally
years.
agree.
Like it was success with honor and all that, and like guys were doing, I guess, like they were, you know, putting guys in the NFL and winning a lot of games. But like Joe didn't win in Columbus from like he didn't win like it was some ridiculous stat I saw. I think Ben Jones tweeted it like in like the 90s up until like a good amount of the 2000s. Yeah, 2008 he like didn't win
because even the last win in Columbus in 2011 was Tom Bradley.
Yeah, so like it's not like Joe was a great coach too, but like and what the national championship was 1986. I mean, it's not like they were like Penn State was like out here like Alabama in like the 80s and 90s. Like,
and it's also at the same time you say, just like that. Penn State is not Ohio State. Penn State is not Alabama. Penn State is not Clemson. They probably never will be. Like, Penn State is a tier below. Like, and for people to be like, oh, James Franklin has to get fired because we're not in the national championship because we haven't won a national championship. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, we're not expected to win the national championship every year. We're not expected. Like, and I feel like every year up until some point, we are a college football playoff possibility.
Agreed.
But it's just like people have a skewed view. We, in our reactions, we always talk. It's always funny, like when I'm exporting these.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, in our reactions post this week, and everyone's like, I don't read that. But in our reactions this week, we said one of them was James Franklin's overrated, and I think all three of you guys said kind of. I said no because I feel like James Franklin is not only rated the way he should be because people give him a lot of shit, but I think his expectations, like not his expectations for the program, but our expectations for him are too high. So it's like he's reaching for not unattainable but unrealistic expectations.
I don't think he's overrated anymore because I think this year has like confirmed that like he's not an elite coach. I think people did think he was elite, especially after the Cotton Bowl. I think Penn State, like a lot of people thought Penn State was about to like make the climb, like from like his speech in 2018, like we have to go from a great to an elite team. He's not like he's definitely not an elite coach. I think maybe I guess that means he's like properly rated, like you said, but anyone who thinks he's like a top tier coach, he's not. He's an elite recruiter, but like X's and O's wise, I don't like. He can't compete with like Ryan Day
I think
or Urban Meyer, who's in the NFL now. But like guys like that, Dabo, Nick Saban.
I mean, I don't know if Ryan Day is an elite coach.
I think he is.
I think he is. I
He's
mean,
an
he has a
elite
lot.
play
He has a
caller.
ton of talent,
You
but
think
so does
he's
James.
shown us enough, but I feel like
he
he's
hasn't lost a
still
Big
in,
Ten
like,
game yet.
The grandfathered into like.
I guess, bro. But like, I mean,
If
even
you
at
go
some
undefeated in conference play in 3
point,
years,
yeah, like they haven't. Like that's crazy.
Fair enough.
That's crazy.
I think Franklin winning the Big
I
Ten
just don't like
championship.
him.
yeah, me neither. But
Franklin winning the conference in year 3 was a blessing for Penn State fans, but a curse for him.
yeah,
it-
facts.
From
Set
that
the bar
point,
way too high.
from that point forward, it was only downhill if you don't reach that peak
right,
again.
Right.
So
That's a good point.
I think he kind of caught lightning in a bottle with that
With
that
like
team.
Saquon and Trace, yeah.
Trace McSorley at quarterback, Saquon. Your receivers are all lighting it up in the NFL right now. Mike Gesicki. And that defense wasn't very good, but they had guys from the previous team, like
Mhm.
Brandon Bell, that were building
Marcus Allen.
blocks. Marcus Allen. So I don't know. I think I remember watching that team, and I was like, I was optimistic for the future, but again, I was like, I don't know if they'll ever have a team as fun as that in the next
Probably not.
5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So take what you can get.
Yep.
Let's preview the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, so I was just looking at their schedule. They started 3-0, but then they had such a brutal start to the Big Ten play. I didn't even realize that. They played Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State without a bye. Like those were their first three Big Ten games. They lost by a touchdown in Michigan. They got rolled by Ohio State, and they didn't really keep up with Michigan State. And then they lost to Northwestern. But still, that's like an insanely hard start. I didn't realize that. So, and then from there, they're what? Overall, they're 5-5 right now. 5 losses in the Big Ten. 2 wins over Illinois and Indiana. And Connor made this point in the notes, but they are playing for bowl game eligibility here, so that could be some extra motivation for Greg Schiano's squad.
They haven't made a bowl game in 7 years.
Right.
So that'd be big.
What's Penn State playing for?
A better bowl game.
You can't lose to Rutgers.
If we lose
like,
to
that's
Rutgers,
like I don't.
we lose to Rutgers and Michigan State. What are we 6-6? And we don't go to a bowl.
Yeah, they do. 6-6 Penn State goes to a bowl, I think,
Like
just
what
because
bowl
it's Penn
would we
State.
go to?
Pinstripe.
Sheesh, bro. Yeah, the pinstripe.
When
You still think they would make the pinstripe?
When they were
6-6?
6-6 in 2014, they made the pinstripe.
That's what I'm hoping for right now. I kind of want them to go 7-5 and make the pinstripe. I think that'd be sick. Or Music City in
That
Nashville.
sounds pretty cold. Not gonna lie, it might be.
Yeah,
nice
but
and
Yankee
cozy.
Stadium, dude.
Might be nice and cozy up in the press box. It's gonna be
Well.
cold as on the field. Anyways, let's talk about the Rutgers team.
So yeah, I think the biggest name, at least on defense to start, I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but Olakunle Fatukasi. Was I even close? I don't know.
I think you were close enough.
He's a Butkus Award semifinalist. He's like their guy on defense. He's a linebacker. James talked about it on Tuesday. They like in the run stop. He's kind of their guy. So he's the guy I'm gonna watch all day. I think he's awesome and kind of their star on defense. So yeah.
Yeah. On offense, they still haven't really found their quarterback yet in the Greg Schiano era. Noah Vertil's playing right now. He wears number 0. He's been there for a while. He's pretty scrappy, makes plays, but isn't a very good passer.
Right.
In the backfield, they have Isaiah Pacheco. He's been there for a long time. I remember him playing for so many years.
Yep.
But he's good. He's shifty. The way Penn State has been against the run recently should be better for them, but obviously they've struggled specifically against Illinois, stopping the run. So
Right.
the game plan will probably to be pounded against.
Yep,
Penn
and
State
then
defensive line.
Bo Melton is like their star wide receiver. I think that's another guy. I feel like he's been there for so long. I don't know if he's I forget if he's a senior or junior. I'll check that. I'm pretty sure he's a senior. Yeah, he's a senior. Yeah, he has 48 catches this year, 523 yards. So I mean, he's like their number 1 guy through the air. So it'll be fun to watch him. See if Joey Porter, I guess, will probably cover him as their number 1 guy, or TCF. But we'll see. I don't know. I kind of expect it to be. It's like a noon kick in November. I kind of expect it to be a low-scoring, kind of sleepy game at Beaver Stadium right before Thanksgiving.
The spread is 17 right now in favor of Penn State.
Mhm.
Covering that's going to be tough. That's just a lot of points at this point. The student section is going to be half full.
Mhm.
They're coming off of a loss. We know how that goes with Franklin-led teams. So we'll see. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think the
And
spread gets covered.
worth
I think it's got to
noting-
drop.
It's worth noting that Rutgers rolled Indiana last week.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's a
beat
good point.
Indiana
They
much
beat the
worse
crap
than
out of them.
we beat
Yeah,
Indiana
yeah.
at home. So, all right, spread is set at Penn State -17. That's the line. I don't think Penn State covers that. Let's get some score predictions, and then we'll talk a little bit about the rest of the season.
So, yeah, I don't think Penn State covers that at all. I think Rutgers has, more to play for here, just in terms of the prospect of playing in Beaver Stadium, beating a shaky Penn State team. Not a bad Penn State team, like we said, but a shaky Penn State team coming off of a loss. So I think they're going to come out and score first, honestly, and then I think that's going to wake Penn State up. I think Penn State wins, let's go 21-10. I don't think they cover the spread. I think Kevon Lee gets a touchdown, and Sean throws for one and runs for one. And Rutgers scores that touchdown early, and then the defense figures it out and lets a field goal down the stretch. But 21-10, that's my score.
For Greg Schiano, unless for some reason James goes somewhere else, he's going to be at Rutgers for life. I think, honestly, he could be Penn State's best hire. Franklin did go anywhere. But for him, this game is bigger than any game. Regional recruiting battle, Big Ten East rival. So I agree. I think they're going to come out on fire. But I think Penn State will win 24-13. I think it'll be closer than people expect. In 2019, Will Levis started against Rutgers, and that game kind of felt like this. They came off of 2 pretty bad losses, and student section was half full, so they didn't win by that many either. I think they won by 9 in that game. So I don't know.
Wait, so 2019 was right after the Minnesota loss?
Right after, Minnesota and Ohio State.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yep. Right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we'll see what happens Saturday, but either way, guys, we're just an accident in the universe waiting to cease to exist, as our friend Gary Cattell says.
Wise words.
I have Penn State 17, Rutgers 13.
Ooh. Jeez, that'd be gross.
It's going to be really close. I'm actually worried about it, but I can't pick Penn State to lose. I just can't do it. But this game worries me a little bit.
I think it should.
I said it about the Steelers last week. I said this is a trap game, even before Ben got COVID. But anyways, we're not talking about the Steelers.
The other thing too, I think Clifford's really beat up. I don't know.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know if
play.
I don't know if
Me
he doesn't
neither.
if he finishes the game. And Christian was just upgraded to QB2 tonight. Did you see that?
He was?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even. Okay, I missed that. All right.
Over Taekwon.
There
so
you go.
That's some breaking news.
Well, there's only a couple games left, and they can play him as much as he wants, and it.
They should too.
Red shirt. I do see. James has been talking about getting some depth playing, so we'll see. It'll be interesting. All right. Moving forward, last thought. We might start to see some players start to sit out if we lose. I don't think we'll lose, but we could start to see players sit out. Brisker, Dotson, Clifford. I don't think Clifford has much to gain from playing.
Yeah, I think for a bowl game, I could see if they're in the Pinstripe Bowl, the Music City Bowl, I don't think Jahan should play or Jaquan. I don't.
You don't think there's any chance that Clifford gets shut down?
I feel like I could see him coming back still. Yeah, I don't know why they would shut him down just because his draft stock isn't anywhere at the moment.
Right.
There's he's playing for. I mean, that would be up to him. If he gets beat up this weekend, I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting.
No doubt.
All right, boys. Appreciate you guys coming on, talking some football.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sam.
See you next week. Oh, we are Penn State. Me and Pegs will be in the student section this week. Connor will be up in the booth.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Connor's up in the press
Huge
box.
flip.
Trading places.
This is your first time?
Yeah. Well, I was up there for
Blue-white.
blue-white last year.
Okay. That doesn't really
First time for a real game. Yeah.
That's exciting, dude. We'll
Yeah,
wave
thanks.
to you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We're going to sit in your spot.
Hold down the tunnel seats for me.
No doubt.
Definitely
Actually,
won't.
yeah.
I'm probably going to be a little late
Why-
for this game.
Let's just slide up.
Yeah,
We're
seriously,
friends with
do
Connor
it.
Krause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
friends
we're
of the
talking to
show.
you, Nittany
Present
Lill.
your
Let us
stickers.
up there.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That was another episode of Podward State. It was a good episode. Talked to the Willard Preacher. What'd you think, Sam?
It was pretty cool. I enjoyed chatting with them. Got some headlines with the crew, some football talk. We got Shannon Smith. We got Hailey Stutzman, Connor Krause. We got Will Pegler. And we got Jordy Mansberger.
It's Onward State's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Onward State. Also, Danny DeVito allegedly. Yeah, shout out to Onward State. Teen, 13 Reasons Why. They really fumbled that. The social team really fumbled that.
That's like me. So.
I know, that's why I said it. Why didn't you guys do a 13 Reasons Why joke?
Because that's not age. That's just 13.
Yeah.
We like 13 reasons why
why you should follow Onward State.
That's so stupid.
13 reasons why you should.
Sam, that's why you're not the social team.
Yep, that is why. Good thing, too. From
Nice.
Willard Building with the Willard Preacher, this has been another episode of Podward State. My name is Sam Brungo.
Grace Cunningham.
Have a great weekend. Have a great break. Stay safe.
See ya.